And I'm Andrea.
And you're listening to
So with this ring.
So we are back
Yes.
and better than ever with
Woo.
season 2. And this is episode 1. So this is friendships.
Yes.
Before we even get into that, we had our nice little break of 2.5 weeks, which was definitely needed.
Yes, it was.
So that way we didn't have to worry about, okay, we got to shoot and things like that or whatever. So it's just an opportunity for us to relax and do everything else that we need to do. Not to say that we couldn't do it because we're powerhouses, but at the same time, this gave us one less thing to necessarily worry about, like the editing and all of that stuff. But we were still very relevant on Instagram and stuff like that. There was a few people who mentioned they don't care about. They didn't care about this recent
Super Bowl.
So they was like, we have no interest in none of their teams.
Yeah.
So, that was...
We was doing some giveaways.
We were trying, and nobody was trying to take it. But you know what? It's all good. If it's not your cup of tea,
nope.
It's not your cup of tea. Don't worry. More giveaways is in the pipeline to happen.
Exactly.
We're still doing the giveaway for the book, for Selena's book.
Yes.
Bait and Switch. So that right there is a $200 gift card. Listen.
Come on now.
Come on. Somebody needs it.
Listen, I'm about to use it. So, because there's
tons of equipment we can be getting right now for this.
That's even equipment.
Podcast.
We got the lovely people on social media that's doing their Amazon drop of clothing, and I need a new wardrobe.
This
so
is true.
I can use that for
this
some wardrobe.
This is definitely true. So we're going to still keep that going. Also, for anyone who has actually recently donated to our cause, what we are trying to do, and we are extending it out as much as we possibly can until we hit that $1,000 mark for the Child Center of New York. Whatever that you're able to donate, please, we thank you. Even if you can't donate and you just want to share it,
that would be perfect.
on your story, on your post, or whatever, just spread the word. We definitely appreciate that. So, how was your 2 weeks off?
It was good. I mean, as we all know, we all work, 9 to 5s and stuff. So the 9 to 5 was kicking my butt, but it was good. Been doing some stuff heavy on my personal social media and as well as working on the business, for Embellished by Andrea, rebranding that with the jewelry, and et cetera. How about you?
It was good. It's good. I'm actually in the process of rebranding, the business for Powell with lip glosses and just making sure that I can stay on top of the game with that. And then just really trying to get everything in order, as we're trying to make that transition into for us moving.
Yeah.
So we've been trying to look for different things, working out a budget which works best for us, things like that. And we have a lot going on that we're just trying to factor in. So this 2 weeks was definitely good. But I missed y'all.
Yes, you
definitely missed you guys. And thank you for those people who were reaching out in between the 2 weeks asking, is it over? No, is that over?
Yeah, that was the funny part. Y'all are over. No, we're on a break.
We tried to stay as relevant as possible on Instagram, but we wanted to still make sure that we took that time for self-care, like what we were talking about before, just being able to disconnect for a little bit. But we were there. We were, giving posts even now and again, the giveaways that we were doing as well. Your sis is still here, but we just needed a little bit time away. So as we, go into the seasons, we will break for probably about maybe 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks or whatever, so that way we can.
And that gives us time to regroup and basically come back refreshed and ready to talk about whatever the season that we're going to be talking about. So that's why it helps us.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into it. So this is season 2, episode 1, and this is So What is Friendship? So depending upon the person, honestly, people think and, basically have their own definition about friendships. But the overall, I feel it's the key thing is someone or a person that you vibe with.
Yes.
There's no issues. It's just nothing but positivity. Now, don't get me wrong about issues, because issues are going to come about.
Yes.
But this actually tests your strength on how strong your friendship is going to be.
Yep.
So to me, and I'm sure Andrea is going to probably have either something similar or want to add to it as well. But for me, friendship is a person that's going to be your ride or die. That's going to be there. That's going to have your interests in mind. It's going to be somebody that's going to be able to talk and uplift you in person and even behind your back when they're talking about someone else. If you're talking with someone else, if your name comes up, it's kind of like, what about them? That's my friend. What's the issue here? You have an issue? Let's sit down. Let's talk about it, rather than joining in with the conversation with them and trying to bring you down. Friendship is someone. It's about actually caring for the person. You're being open with communication. Not everything is going to be sweet. Some things are going to be very spicy, and you just have to make sure that you're able to have the communication and stuff like that to make sure that you can get past it. I mean, there's going to be moments, just like when we were talking about in season 1, when you're in your relationships, when you're dating, there's going to be times in which you're going to have rifts. But the main thing is that verifying whether or not if this person is meant to be in your life, if there is a reason behind this person being in your life, and if that is the case, then you do what you
Yeah.
need to do to work it out. What about you?
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, but basically, what Shanique was saying is exactly how I feel about friendship. It's somebody that you vibe with, somebody that's going to be your ride or die, that's going to be there. It's kind of like the relationship that you have, with your partner, but on a friend level, through thick and thin. Like, as you're going through things, you know that you have that person that you could just be like, hold on, I need you, and will be there at the drop of a dime.
Absolutely.
So, and it's about loyalty, somebody that's loyal
Yes.
and genuine, but also somebody that keeps it real as well. Because I don't want somebody that's my friend that's just going to yes me to death or agree with everything. I definitely want somebody that has their own opinions in regards to it.
And not going to sugarcoat.
Yep, no
That's
sugarcoating.
because sugarcoating is not what we need. Unless it's like an actual dessert that we're going to eat, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But in regards to like a friendship, we don't need the sugarcoat. It's just a matter of tone and delivery. I'm very big on tone and delivery. If you need to address me on something, if your toning and delivery is off, then I'm gonna have to stop you there, and we're gonna have to try to figure out another way to talk about this. Text messaging, not the best on that. I mean, because of the simple fact that tone and delivery.
Oh yeah, text message is not good. I learned that. I think I learned that more through the years. That text messaging, it kind of like you don't know the fine line. It's also like emailing.
Yeah.
So it's always good to have those face-to-face conversation or phone calls, especially if you're in a disagreement, so that you can get some clarity. Because texting can go so many different ways. It does.
But for me personally, I feel it's like having the face to face means the most to me, because then you can really feel that person out. You have the body language, you have the facial expressions, making sure that, like what I mentioned before, like that phrase, making sure that the handshake is actually matching the smile. Because they can say all of this stuff like, yeah, we're friends on the opposite side of the phone, but then the whole time is like, we ain't friends and all this other stuff.
But that brings it up to different types of friendships. Absolutely. I was just going to say that there are different types of friendships, because I think sometimes, and I can say I fell into that, where you think everybody is friend. Everybody is not your friend. There's some people that are really your friend, and there's some people that are just an associate.
Absolutely.
Or just an acquaintance, as what we say. So we have to really define what that is, because technically, if somebody's talking about me, we really ain't friends. I mean, sometimes I'm not even going to say that, because there's not one person, and you can fight me and disagree with me on this one. There's not one person that sit there and haven't talked about somebody. We all talk about somebody.
We do.
But it's the nature of what you're talking about.
Right. How malicious are you
being?
Like, are you there to say, okay, this is how the person made me feel, and I'm not really cool about that? Or this person is XYZ, I have no desire of being around them, then you're still being fake by being around that person that you have so much nasty stuff to say.
My goodness. That's the worst.
So, and you pull up a good point. So that question would then be the difference between an acquaintance and a friend. An acquaintance is somebody like, okay, you guys are cool, I can hang out with you every now and again, but you're not my friend. I'm not giving you all of like the juicy situations that has happened in my life. I'm not coming to you for support or for advice or anything like that. Me and you, we're cool. It's kind of like that coworker. We're cool. There's a boundary. There's a certain boundary. There's only but so much you're able to give. Whereas a friendship, you're going to be like my diary. So to speak. I should be able to open up
and vice versa too, because you want that person to be the same way too.
Right, and that exactly the two-way street. I want for my friend to be able to give me the same amount of energy that I'm giving them. Right,
because there are also one-sided friendships. That's another one.
That is another one. So I want it to be like a two-sided street. Like I'm giving you and you're giving me. There's no holding back. Now, the only time that I can really say that there's a holding back situation is in the event if you don't necessarily know how to bring a situation to me and you're trying to fill it out.
Yeah,
like,
that's
how
true.
can I bring it to your attention? Whereas I'm not coming off like as fake.
Yeah.
I'm not coming off as mean, but I want to bring it to you as delicately as as well, with respect.
And not waiting too long, because that's sometimes also another issue, that we will harbor certain issues and let it fester and don't really bring it up to the person's attention right away immediately, because then the person be like, hey, why you didn't tell me this? I didn't know.
Right.
And I think it's also about how to say it to somebody without making that person be offended. But then there's gonna be times that no matter how you say it, slice it, dice it, it's gonna come off offensive.
Right.
But it's just you being able to get it out there, because I feel like you got to go through that. Like,
you do. But the thing is that you have to know your friend. So you have to know your friend. If you know that your friend is not a person that's into confrontation, then don't bring it to them in a confrontational kind of way. If you know that that your friend is going to get rah-rah, like, oh, this and that, then you know that tread softly. You know what I mean? When you're bringing it to their attention, still
Mm-hmm.
be firm with what you
Yeah.
have to say, but at the same time, just let them know, like, listen, what this happened. I wasn't a fan of that. So let's go ahead and try to, like, understand what took place, so that way you understand where I'm coming from with that, so we know not to go down that route
That
again.
also sounds like having boundaries in friendships.
Exactly. Boundaries is so necessary, and not just within the workplace, not within, with you having dating,
Mm-hmm.
whatever your situationships are, but also in your friendships too. You
Yeah.
have to set certain boundaries, because there are friends, because of the fact that you guys have been friends for so long, you shared so much, but they have like this sense of entitlement that they have to know everything that's going on in your life. And if they happen to miss something, then it's a problem. So a friend should be able to understand, like, okay, maybe you're not ready to tell me that portion as of yet, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe I wasn't the person that you wanted to speak about it,
Yeah.
but there is no reason as to why there should be any kind of like altercation, anyone feeling some type of way, being
Exactly.
salty.
Exactly.
We have to understand that in life, we're going to have a certain friendship with different people. We're not going to always
Yep.
have like my friend, her circle, and my circle is not going to always be
Nope.
the same circle.
No.
And I'm not expecting to be
At every
filtered
event.
into her
Yeah.
circle
Yeah.
just because of the simple fact that we are friends. She has her circle of friends, and they have their certain way about
Yep.
doing things, and whereas we have friends that are
Yep.
together or whatever, and we navigate a certain things, and it's not a matter of being fake, it's just a
Nope.
matter of that's how you gel with that person.
But everything is not, and then you always have to remember, everything is not always meant for you. So,
Right.
Per se, you'll be with your group.
Mhm.
That's not going to be with me because that's not for me.
Right.
And that
Ooh.
it's not for me. It's let's talk about it. It's not for me.
Mhm.
Every time you see, so we're gonna break it down like
Yes,
this.
please do.
So me and Shenequa are friends, right?
Mhm.
So every time, yes, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna do certain things. But if I was to see Shenequa with somebody else, I shouldn't be saying, "Oh, why am I not there too?"
Exactly.
Because it's not meant for me.
No.
It's not meant for me. If I'm meant to be at a gathering, I will be at a gathering.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like it's an invitation to a wedding almost. If you're meant to go, you will be invited.
Yes.
You shouldn't be inserting yourself in certain things, because what ends up happening is you may not even vibe. Not everybody vibes together. We can
Right.
all have a mutual respect for each other
Mhm.
because of the nature of the friend that we're all connected to.
Absolutely.
But we all don't have to vibe either. And sometimes you can also outgrow, but that's something that we'll talk about, as the season progresses. But you also outgrow certain friendships too,
Exactly.
and that's okay.
Mhm.
I think it's the way you handle it. And I
Right.
can say that for myself because I have learned so much through the years.
Mhm.
Like, defining what friendships are, as opposed to your teens and your 20s to now my late 30s hitting to my 40s. It's like I define what friendship is and what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
Because not every, and it's weird. You try to say, well, no, your friends should have everything. No,
Mhm.
every friend may not have every quality you're looking for.
Exactly.
I mean, you're going to look for kind of all the qualities in your mate.
Yes.
But they may not have that either.
Mhm.
But every friend may not have that quality. So you may have somebody like, listen, this is my person I'm a roll with to go out with. Because
Right.
I know that I can call such and such today and they be like at the drop of dime.
Right.
But then when I need my real, like, listen, I gotta ponder your head on some stuff.
That might be the same person.
It might.
No, I said it may
not.
not be
It may not be the same person.
Right.
Because you could get the both, but then sometimes it doesn't work out that way.
Mhm.
So then you have that one that you really, that's the one. But you got to pay attention. You will know who your ride or die friend is.
Yes.
that goes with you through the whole transition of your life.
Exactly.
I'm talking about through every waking moment of your life.
And I like to call those friends the versatile friends, because
Mhm.
they can be with you for everything that you're going through. If you need a moment where you need to go out and be ratchet, they can be right there being ratchet
Yep.
with you. If you just want to stay inside the house, drink some wine, and just chill and talk, they can go ahead and switch and be there for you to, wine and chill. If you want to sit there and vent, they'll be there as an active listener, not to go ahead and throw, whatever it is that they need to do, because that might be something that you're looking for at the present time. You just need someone to listen.
Exactly. And some people have the ones that they speak to every day.
Yes.
Me, no. I have friends and I'll tell you that. And she can say that too, because I don't.
Mhm.
I don't speak, like, yes, I like being on social media. I'm gonna say that because
Mhm.
that's really just me sounding off to myself.
Mhm.
Well, for the audience here.
Right.
But talking every day, no. And I think it also that changed for me in the field of work that I do. So sometimes you be so exhausted. It's like, listen,
Oh, yeah.
I love you, friends, but I'm just going to talk to you like when I talk to you. Like I have one friend, will be like, okay, I may not even hear from her, and then she'll do this SOS system, like, hey, are you alive? Like randomly, I'm like, yeah, I'm alive. And then when we get together, it's like, hey, you would never, we don't skip a beat or anything of that nature. And then there's some people that you do have conversations with them almost every day.
Yeah.
Those are minute, laughing, giggling, whatever it may be.
Exactly, and that's just with understanding who your friend is, and vice versa. Sometimes I'm not going to be or want to actually speak to you every single day, but just know that doesn't mean that I'm not thinking about you.
Exactly.
I just need that mental capacity to just step away and be able to do other things that I need to do. Life gets in the way. As we are in, we're professional, we're working and things like that. We moms, we're wives and things like that or whatever. So, we're being pulled in different directions. So we need friends, your real friends should be able to be understanding of that. But at the same time, we do have to make sure that we are taking accountability of saying, okay, well, damn, I haven't reached out to her in XYZ. She's reaching out to me. Let me go ahead and at least reach out to her, whether it's just like, hey, thinking of you real quick, or a nice little voice note like, hey, just checking in. Like, I'm big on check-ins.
Yeah.
I'm very big on check-ins.
She is.
If I haven't heard or seen the person, even though, like, okay, they may have been on social media, I see that you're alive or whatever. If you're in my thoughts, I'm going to be like, hey, just doing a check-in, making sure everything is good. You don't have to get back to me right away. Just wanted to make sure everything is okay on your end. I'm here if you need to talk. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
And I think those are really important, like the check-ins, like, hey, I'm just checking in, thinking about you. Or even I love the memory lanes when we be like, oh shoot, I stumbled across a picture, just sending you this picture and engaging in a conversation, because now life is so hectic and crazy. We often forget and sometimes tend to neglect those friendships, which we talk about that, which is a part of calling, maintenance in friendships. That's something that we'll be talking about later on the season. So, because just like you have that maintenance in your relationship, like we talked about, in friendship, that's the same thing.
Absolutely.
So it's just so many ways to put it. And it's like, and even talking about, I'm just thinking, because this is like our just opener, but even loss in friendships.
Yes.
Nobody talks about that.
No. And those losing a friend, that does take a toll on you, because of the simple fact it's kind of like, where did we go wrong? What was the disconnect here? And sometimes losing the friendship is because it needed to be gone. Because of the simple fact of like certain things that was going on, and just like, this
it wasn't working.
Sense. It's not working. No. I'm not going to be giving my all if you're not going to do it, or if you can't understand the fact that these are the things I can't tolerate, but yet you're still doing it. We have a huge problem here. So that's a huge disconnect. That's those kind of loss of friendships. And the other kind of loss of friendships is kind of like where people just disappear. Like, you just grow apart. You grow apart. But then, right, exactly. But then there's no rhyme or reason behind that. That to me, I would say, bothers me the most. And it doesn't sit well with me, because I'm kind of like,
what happened?
Then
start blaming yourself.
Then it's kind of like, okay, what did I do wrong? But and that's the thing, blaming yourself. And sometimes it's not even you. Maybe just that person. Like, again, there's a reason, and then there's a season for a person to be in your life.
And sometimes people come in when they could prey on your weakest hour. Like that's something I could share, like, later on, about like people that you thought were supposed to be your people and they wasn't. Like, literally, and then would dump you via text message.
And then there's
I had to bring that up.
No, and then there's friendships that you think for me personally, and we'll get into it more. But growing, like when I was a little bit younger, I thought everybody was my friend.
Oh my goodness! Literally, right?
If me and you, we had a moment where we had a little kiki right here.
We friends.
Okay, we friends. We exchanged numbers. We exchanged social medias. Guess what? You are my friend. But then it took a while for me to understand not everybody is your friend.
Exactly.
Okay? Everyone is there for a time frame.
Yes.
Everyone is there, or sometimes you have people that are in your life that's there as an opportunist. You have people that's in your life just to watch you fail. Or whatever.
And also low-key jealous of you. So that's why they want to be around.
And even with that, I've never understood that. And
me
we'll
neither.
Get into that, because there was a handful of people that was telling me about a specific friend in my life that was like, I think that person is jealous of me.
And you're like, what? Like, how? What?
I've never understood the fact of a friend being jealous of you. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, when I'm never going to put myself on a higher pedestal compared to everybody else. If you need help, I'm there to help you.
Listen, how about you have somebody that try to imitate your life and you ain't realize until after that?
And I had that happen. I'm sure we've all had that moment. Either that or a friend who's just jealous as you've met them through
Ooh.
another friend, and then they
Yeah.
just became jealous, and
Uh,
then it turns into like a
you talking
whole,
about the toxic ones?
and then have the nerve to call you toxic.
Toxic.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just
We could go on and
we can
on
go on
about
and on
this.
and on. But the main purpose of this, conversation is just to have an understanding between the definitions of friendships and how that's going to be different per person.
Mm-hmm.
And then understanding the simple fact that there is a huge difference between an acquaintance and then also a friend.
Friend.
Not everyone is your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Especially once I think people really need to sit down and have an understanding as far as
Yes.
what their definition of friendship is. Remove yourself from social media.
Mm-hmm.
Remove yourself from all of the movies and things like that
Yes.
that's out there, society and stuff like that, what they
Because
want
that
you to
plays a
think.
big part.
Because that plays a big part as well. But it's on the basis of when you sit down at the end of the day and you're going through something, right? Or maybe you're not going through something.
Mm-hmm.
What is a friend to you?
Yep.
What do you want like that friend to be there for you?
Yeah, or if you know, or this is how you know who your friend is. Like if you're in a real situation
Mm-hmm.
and you want to be like, who am I calling?
Right.
You'll know automatically. You'll know automatically. You're not gonna go through your whole phone list like,
No.
oh, maybe this one is. You already know who you calling automatically.
Absolutely. And if you already know who you're calling automatically, then automatically that person is kind of like your ride or die.
Yep.
Your ride or die. And then maybe somewhere down the line, you're able to open up to another friend about something
Mm-hmm.
that you were going to before. And then sometimes that friend is going to be like, how come you didn't come to me or anything like that?
Exactly.
It's just like, it's not, hopefully they don't take offense to it, because sometimes friends do.
People do. People
what I
do.
mean?
It's women. We do take offense to it.
And only because, and I feel as though sometimes it comes from like a good place because we want
Yeah.
to be there to help out. But then we also got to understand that maybe we just weren't the person that they wanted to connect
Mm-hmm.
with at that particular time.
Listen,
that moment.
I
that
tell
they were
people
in.
all the time there are certain things that I don't know.
Mhm.
And let's say somebody will be, did you know that? No, I didn't know that. And do I get mad? No. In the past, I used to.
Yes.
But then I say, you know what? It wasn't meant for them to tell me
at
that time.
Right.
And when they do tell me, I'm still going to feel important. I'm not going to
Mhm.
feel no different because somebody else knows.
Right.
Maybe they didn't feel the necessary need to share certain
Right, because
things with me.
sharing something very personal, sometimes you have to pick like
Mhm.
and choose. Like,
Yeah.
who can I really say this to? You don't want to keep it in, because keeping it in, that takes a toll, and we'll
Mhm.
get into that in another season.
Yes.
About self-care and things like that.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
As it pertains to your friend, when you are going through something, like you again, like, who's that person you're going to connect with. And then if you choose again to talk to somebody else, hopefully that friend that you're talking about it like down the line is not going to
Yes.
take offense to it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, again, differences between friendships and acquaintances. I'm not calling my acquaintance to let them know about everything
Hello.
that's going
Nope.
on in my
Nope.
life. I'm just not. Not to say that they're a bad-hearted person, but
Mm-mm.
because of the simple fact that we haven't gotten to that place as of yet.
Exactly.
And again, that was something that I used to struggle with. It again, if somebody was to come into my life, we had a great time. Guess what? That's my friend.
Exactly.
And it took me a while to get to that point to be like, no, Shenequa, not everybody that you meet.
And it's and it's a hurtful type of thing too, because especially if you know your personality. Like,
Mhm.
I know my personality, I know how I am. So when I be like, dang, I used to be like, oh, I wasn't included in something. And then I had to take a step back, like, okay, you wasn't included because it wasn't meant for you.
Right. Not everything you're going to be. And I have to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Not everything or every event are you going to be invited to. And it's sometimes it's hard to understand that, because there's even moments, I don't have a problem with saying it, but there's even moments for myself where it's just like, I'm really close with that friend and they're out with a whole bunch of other friends that I'm close with, and I didn't get the invitation. I'm like, well, what happened? My phone didn't go off. I didn't get the invitation. I didn't see we're going to connect. What happened? And I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't hurt. It does hurt.
It does.
But at the same time, you also got to understand, we're not going to get invited to all of the events at the same time. We're just not.
And you got to think about it. Sometimes and sometimes friendship goes in dosages too. You gotta be respectfully around your friends in dosages. Sometimes y'all need that space too.
Mm-hmm.
You can't always be up under each other. Oh my goodness, we got to be up under each other thinking,
no, because I have friends that I love and will be there for them at the drop of the dime, but at the same time, like, the distance is needed,
Mhm.
because I can't take them in so many doses. And I'm
Exactly.
sure it could be the same for somebody else about me. Like, okay, I can't be around her all the time.
Yep.
And that does not exclude the fact that they're not my friend. That they're
Exactly.
not going to be somebody there, like at the drop of a dime, I wouldn't be there for.
Exactly.
You just have to understand like your friends. That's really what it
Mhm.
is. Understand your friends, how they navigate, how they maneuver, and you match that with your own vibe and your own energy. If you realize the way that they're maneuvering is not kind of the way that you would normally do so, then you know when it comes to certain things.
Listen, have those conversations first before you decide to do the cutoff. That's the one thing
Yes.
I'm gonna say. If you feel something is not right, or you
Mhm.
feel something is not working out to the level of what you're expecting,
Communicate.
communicate and have those
It's
conversations.
nothing wrong with communicating. Listen, we're all grown here.
Yes.
There's no reason as to why that you should feel as though that you need to distance yourself without having a conversation. It could have been something that we could have resolved right then and there.
Mhm.
Hey, Andrea, I didn't like the way you did XYZ, so I think I'm going to take a seat back.
Exactly.
But before I did that, I wanted to bring it to your attention. So that way we can talk about it.
And-
I'm still going to get my space.
Yep.
At the end
And
of the day.
9 times out of 10, the person may not even know they did something.
Exactly. At least give them that
Grace.
You know, that
Yeah.
benefit of the doubt to be
Mhm.
like, okay, well, you know, my bad. I didn't realize I was doing XYZ. You know, my bad. I'll go ahead and give you your space. And when you're ready to talk, then we'll
Exactly.
talk, rather than having the spiciness, the unnecessary stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
keep the
exactly.
spice in the food. It don't always have to be spicy with friendships. No, I'm serious. Like,
Spice in the food.
right? Like, it doesn't always have to be like an altercation or, oh, I don't like what she. Just communicate.
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with communicating.
No, you're right.
Right. So anyway, that's just my spiel on friendships and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, what I wanted anybody to get from this is that not everybody is your friend. You know,
Remember that.
not everyone is your friend. You understand who you vibe with.
Mhm.
You understand who you have a connection with. You understand who are the people that you can go to, and vice versa. And you feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it, you understand it, you know it. And when you have all three of those, feel, understand, and know it,
Mhm.
then you know that those are like your friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's-
Acquaintances is cool. And not to say you can't hang out with the acquaintance.
You can.
Not to say that you can't have conversations
But that's not
with them.
that's
But
not
you
your
know,
person.
there's a boundary that you set with
Mhm.
them. You are not telling your acquaintance about something deep and personal that
Exactly.
you have gone through with somebody that you don't know. Like your
Hello.
friends are supposed to know like the back of your hand. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
basically
okay,
you ain't telling a stranger your whole life story.
exactly, because we don't know who those what those acquaintances have in the back of their minds.
Yeah.
So pick your friends wisely is what I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
say, and understand who your friends
Is
are.
yeah, and
Right, and then also if you find that there's something shady going on or things ain't like,
have the conversation.
right, have the conversation with them, and then you make the determination. Your intuition is going to
Yeah,
always let your gut.
because most friendships end due to not having that conversation.
Exactly.
And it could be something so petty. You'd be
Right.
like, what?
And you know in your gut when something is off. Sometimes we really need to take the opportunity and think about it and like, gut, what you trying to tell me? You know what I mean? Because the thing is, it's like we have this thought process in our mind that, oh, because years everything has been going well with this person, there's no issues. Your intuition and your gut is going to tell you when something's wrong. Listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel as though a lot of times we tend to, block that out because of the simple fact of how much we invested in our time with that friend, how much we may love that person, how much they've been there for us, but we're not paying attention to the gut. Listen to your gut.
Yep.
And that will let you know whether or not that person has a place in your life going forward, or if they should be, we should move them out that cabinet of friendship and put them in the bottom drawer as an acquaintance.
Exactly.
Right?
I totally agree on that because it's a whole process and work to it, and you live and you learn. I know I have learned. I know Shenequa has learned, and I feel like you guys have your own stories and experience, which you could definitely hit us up, comment, email to give your thoughts and feelings about it as well.
Exactly. So I'm going to ask you guys to, when we post about friendships going up in our on the social media, we're going to ask you the question: what is your definition of friendship? Yeah. Because we want to know. Everybody's definition is a little bit different. And so that's our definitions here. Yep. We want to know what you think. What is your thought process behind friendships and acquaintances, and if there is a difference, because sometimes people just don't know that there is a difference between being an acquaintance and being a friend.
Yep.
So I'm good with this episode.
So am I.
Right.
So once again, we are so happy to be back, and we thank you so much for listening to us. Make sure you're following us on all streaming platforms. I'm talking about Spotify, Anchor.
Anchor. I was waiting for that.
She was waiting Anchor, yes. YouTube, which is my favorite platform because you get to see us in the rare form in the video format. Google and Apple iTunes. Yeah, so definitely. But we really, really, like I said, appreciate you. We never thought that we'd be making it to season 2.
Right.
And yeah, and that y'all, so look forward to it. We have a lot to talk about.
As you thought we had a lot to talk about with dating, but we have so much to talk about as
we do.
Because even to this day, we are struggling with like certain, issues with friendships and things like that. And everyone has their story, and there's always two sides of the story. Yeah. So we're gonna give us our.
We're also gonna have some guests. So you're gonna see a lot of reoccurring people that you have seen in season 1, and there's gonna be some new ones too that I really think is gonna be interesting.
I know you guys were waiting for the word. You knew it was coming.
So definitely, once again, we thank you so much for the love and the support. And stay tuned because I think when we come back to air episode 2, I will make a special giveaway announcement.
We got a giveaway. Listen, we have so many gifts that we want to give you guys. Please take them. Because I know my girl over here, as she's into her fashion, her
she's
stuff like that. No, I'm being serious. She don't got the space in her closet to buy anything.
So
neither do I.
She's hinting. So she's hinting at what the next big giveaway is gonna be. But I'm gonna keep that. So that's you gotta stay tuned.
I was only saying she don't got the space to be buying anything else for any of these giveaways that we have. We still have that $200 Amazon gift card floating out there. Please take it from our hands because at this point we can't have another Amazon package being delivered to our house.
We can't. I'm actually banned from Amazon for a little bit.
Banned?
I mean, they didn't ban me. I'm banning myself.
You have to. But anyway, like we said, thank you so much for listening. And this is
So With This Ring.
Bye.
Bye.